Hey guys, and today we have to talk about the 2023 NFL draft that is just around the corner. We have a lot of guys to talk about, but the first thing that we have to talk about is the quarterbacks out of this amazing draft class. I mean, we have guys like Bryce Young, quarterback out of Alabama, and he is probably the most hyped to be the best quarterback prospect out of this whole entire draft. And there is a lot of great things about him. I mean, we're talking about the poise, the accuracy, and overall just his talent. His talent is just overall very spectacular. I mean, he handles pressure really well. He's a very pro-ready NFL quarterback. And as we all know, his clutch gene has definitely been put on display a bunch of times against top competition. But the issue is his size. Like, most sites say that he is 6 foot and he's like 200 plus pounds, but if you really look at him, he does look more 5'9", 5'10". And if he is that size, that could lead to him getting a lot of beatings and him getting hit a lot. And in the NFL, it is hard to take a lot of those hits, and to absolutely get pounded like that, it will lead you to a lot of injuries. And having an injury-prone quarterback like that could really make it difficult for him to be sustainable in the NFL, and his size could make it hard to see above the offensive line. So there are a lot of concerns with that, but if he can work out and if he can get over his size problem, then he could really become an elite quarterback in the NFL. The next quarterback prospect that we have to talk about is Ohio State quarterback CJ Stroud. Now, a lot of people are more iffy on CJ Stroud, whether it is because he's out of Ohio State and the history of Ohio State quarterbacks are very rough, or whether it's the fact that he lacks under pressure and he lacks poise. And I think that it could be both, but I don't really care about the college because, as we see with many quarterbacks, even with the history of the quarterbacks, they can still thrive in the next level. It just is a matter of their talent. And with CJ Stroud, the talent is no question. It is the fact that can he handle the pressure and can he handle it with great IQ and everything like that. I don't know if he can, and I don't know if his upside is as big as some people make it out to be. I think that he could become a good NFL starter, but for him to become a star, he is going to have to stop being scared to take hits, and he is going to have to be able to run more. Because when he does run, he honestly does show good mobility. It's just the fact that can he do that? Can he start to get more comfortable taking hits? That is definitely a big thing because his frame could definitely allow him to take some hits. And the next quarterback prospect, and I really like this guy. I really like Anthony Richardson out of Florida. Anthony Richardson is a very interesting prospect because the upside is definitely tremendous for him. As everyone knows, he does show a lot of flashes of being a very elite quarterback at the next level. The question is, can he put it all together? Because he definitely is inconsistent and has shown some straight up horrible quarterback play. But he has improved as the season goes on, and that is definitely something that is very valuable to be taken in the first round, because if you're taken in the first round, you get a fifth year option. And with that fifth year option, he could definitely be someone that a team could look at and be like, hey, you've been good throughout these 4 years. You broke out in the third year. We'll give you that fifth year option. And it gives them more of an edge. It gives them definitely a big edge. So the next quarterback prospect that we're going to talk about is Will Levis, quarterback out of Kentucky. Will Levis is also another quarterback that has gotten a lot of flack and a lot of praise. Most of the praise coming from NFL scouts, as they really see him similar as how Josh Allen was instead of how Zach Wilson was in last year's class or the year before his class. And it's very interesting because he has good wide receivers. I mean, the Kentucky wide receivers are very good. Dane Key and all of those guys, they're really good. And in the future NFL drafts, they could be taken pretty high. But the offensive line was definitely known as being pretty bad, and definitely not something that's even average for Will Levis and not enough for him to play as well. We all know his arm strength is elite, though that clip I've been seeing go viral, he is wearing no pads, so that has basically no, just who cares about that clip? But even when he has pads, the way he can throw the ball and how far he can throw it is definitely something that needs to be tested because it's really ridiculous. But the accuracy is off. The way he handles pressure is not good. And overall, he just needs to be more consistent. And he is definitely an older quarterback prospect. So there is a lot of flags in his game that I see why people are doubting him so much. And in my opinion, I'm not a huge fan, but I could definitely see it where he gets drafted by the right team, has the right protection, right offensive line, and the right receivers to really play well. And the upside is there, the floor, no. So it's definitely a boomer bust case, and I would only take him if I can afford having him kind of as a backup ish. But I don't hate him. It's just I don't know if he could really become that guy that NFL scouts think he could be. Moving on from the quarterbacks, let's go to the running back position. Bijan Robinson, where should he be drafted? Because the running back position is known as being invaluable, showing not too much value, not being too valuable. But in the case of Bijan Robinson, he could definitely be somebody that could be one of the few running backs to be taken in the first round or higher because as we saw with the Trevor Lawrence class, people like Najee Harris and Travis Etienne went in the late first, and obviously Bijan is better than them. Or was that just a case of bad GMs drafting horribly? I think he's a mid first round guy. I think he gets taken in the mid first round simply because of the fact that he's such a good quarterback prospect. Would I say he's generational? I would not say he's generational, but I will say that he is very, very, very good and on the border of that. Because as we look at Bijan Robinson, the explosiveness is there, the speed is there, the trucking ability and the way to run through defenders is there. He's very well rounded. He shows very much upside, and it's good to like everything about him, but it's just he's not dominant enough to really be taken in the early first round, like I've seen people like Todd McShay say. And moving on from the running backs, we're going to go to the wide receivers. Wide receivers, there has been a pretty huge debate throughout the whole season on who is the best wide receiver out of this class. Is it Jordan Addison? Is it Jackson Smith-Njigba? And is it Quinn Johnson? Quinn Johnson is somebody that I really like. He's a big freak of nature. He's very technical. He has great jump ball skills, and his speed is even pretty good. His explosiveness is solid, and he does have some comparisons to Davante Adams, which I can see, but at the same time, I can't really see, and I would not be comfortable comparing him to Davante Adams, basically, who is arguably the best wide receiver in the league. I'll say it there. And with Jordan Addison, I think he is very clearly not the wide receiver one. I just think that he is kind of like just the perfect wide receiver two, and he cannot be anything of a wide receiver one. I think he reminds me of how Rashad Bateman was a few draft classes ago. He's going to be a pretty good wide receiver two in the NFL, but I can't see him being the number one guy. But with Jackson Smith-Njigba, that is my wide receiver one. Not only is he from Ohio State, which is basically wide receiver university, but the technical stuff is great. The route running really shows on his film. The route running is good. The explosiveness is good as well. The jump ball skills is there as well. And he's just more dominant. I mean, he dominates opposing cornerbacks like lunch. We've seen it when he breaks records when all of these good wide receivers sit out and you could effectively get targeted. He's shown the skill to do that. So, moving on to the last topic. Who is the best player out of this draft between Jalen Carter and Will Anderson? Jalen Carter is definitely someone special. He'd probably be my best guy out of the draft. Huge. can move very quickly with with his size. That's spectacular. He can just push around people. I hate being so simple, but he can literally just push around people while being good, having good speed, good agility. He also has the IQ to take out blockers for him to get to the quarterback. He is going to be a superstar. I really am a huge believer of Jalen Carter. But Will Anderson is no slouch. He is way more explosive. He's probably the most explosive edge rusher we've seen in years. He can explode off the line, and he knows how to tell when the ball is being snapped and how it will be snapped, which also leads to him getting to the quarterback. But Jalen Carter, with his size and strength, kind of just edges over Will Anderson, but do not underestimate Will Anderson's ability to be elite in the next level. And that's really all I have to say for this NFL draft. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, whatever. I'll be hoping to put out new draft content this off season. I'll be working on a mock draft for you guys, and I really hope you enjoyed the video. Peace.